Hello, I'm Andrew Bennett, and these are my people. I want everyone to think back to their elementary school days. Think back to an American history class you had, and you learned about the Civil War. What are some things that come to mind when you think about the Civil War? We have the North and the South, and there's slavery going on, and we know how history goes. The North defeats the South, and slavery is abolished, or so we think. But I'm here to tell you that slavery is more prominent today than it was back in those days. And I'm talking about child trafficking. So what is child trafficking? Well, child trafficking is the illegal movement of children, typically for the purpose of forced labor or sexual exploitation. So some common types of child trafficking are agricultural work, organ trafficking, forced begging, commercial sex, stripping, and pornography. So agricultural work typically happens more overseas. The children are forced into the fields and working long hours, and they're not getting paid for it. Organ trafficking also happens more commonly overseas. The children are trafficked overseas, and they are basically dissected open. Their organs are taken out of them, and the organs are sold on the black market. And then sometimes the children are stitched back up and basically left to die, and sometimes they're not even stitched back up. So then commercial sex, stripping, and pornography, these are the three most common in the United States. So commercial sex, the children are forced to have sex with people 20, 30 times a day. Then stripping, there are clubs that have children as strippers, and so the children are forced to strip in front of an audience. And then pornography, obviously child pornography is a rising issue in the United States, and children are also trafficked into that industry as well. So pimps, what are pimps? Pimps are the people that control the children, or the prostitutes, but in this case the children. So they buy and sell the children, trade the children, and they're the ones making all the money. The children make nothing, but the pimps are the ones. They're swapping children, they're always buying and selling the children, and they are always getting the profits. The pimps also are the ones that arrange clients for the children that are in prostitute situations. So the pimps are the ones that arrange clients, so the children are having sex with them. So child trafficking in the United States, there's between 100,000 and 300,000 children trafficked every year in the United States. That number is very big because the statistics are kind of hard to come by. But that is, as well as we can guess, the average number of children that are trafficked annually in the United States. Average victim age is between 11 and 14 years old. So, and also the lifespan of a child that is trafficked is 7 years. So if you do the math, if a child is trafficked at the age of 11, they'll probably be dead by the time they are 18. So they do not last very long at all. So how can you detect child trafficking? Some of the common kind of cliche ways: be attentive, stay engaged, build trust, listen. These are all ways, whether it be your children or someone you nanny, or these are all ways you can build trust with these children. And by being attentive, you can pick up on things that they will talk about, and you can just, by being aware, you will notice things, and they will be more likely to come to you and talk about things going on, and then you will be able to report. So how do children get involved? Well, the most common is kidnapping. So when children are kidnapped, oftentimes a pimp will pick them up, and they will groom them, which is the process of they will buy them fancy things. They will be very nice to them for a couple weeks, and then they will turn around and say, okay, I've been nice to you, now it's your turn to pay me back. And that's when they will get them into the sex industry or whatever industry they are going to traffic the child into. The internet is also a very common place for children to get roped into trafficking. 76% of girls that are trafficked started on the internet. So Backpage is very similar to Craigslist. Most of us know Craigslist. Backpage is a very dark version of Craigslist, and a lot of children get into trafficking through Backpage. A lot of illegal things going on there. Bus and train stations are also very common for children to get picked up and trafficked. And then also runaways. In the same situation, a pimp will pick them up and treat them very nice for a while, and then turn around and say, well, okay, I've been nice to you, it's your turn to repay me. So reasons for child trafficking. Monetary gain is the biggest thing. It is becoming one of the biggest criminal industries in the United States. It is just under weapons trafficking and drug trafficking, but it is estimated to surpass that in the next few years. So it is becoming a profession for many people because there's so much money to be had. And then just ignorance. I think people are not aware of the issue here in the United States. They don't think it's prominent when in fact it actually is. So effects of child trafficking on children. Obviously their lifespan is cut drastically, but even if they get out of child trafficking, oftentimes there will be emotional imbalance and a lot of just unstableness there. A lot of immorality is obviously crept up into their lives, so a lot of that will affect the child later on down the road and for the rest of their life. So some solutions to child trafficking, just education of people and children both. Alleviation of poverty is a big thing. Oftentimes runaway children are in poor situations, and that is when they get roped into trafficking. And then the biggest thing I feel like is awareness. By raising awareness, people will be more on guard, and I think oftentimes people don't even consider it an issue here in the United States when actually it is quite a serious issue. So, any questions?
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
So what areas in our country would you say is the most dangerous area as far as child trafficking?
So the question was, what is the most dangerous area for child trafficking in the United States? And big cities are oftentimes a key location for child trafficking. There are more people, a lot of poverty around and in big cities, so that is also a breeding spot for trafficking. So I would probably say big cities are the worst for child trafficking. Thank you.